Welcome to the 2025 Ford Maverick build and price. This video is going to help you know if you ordered the right one and make sure you get your order right. So we're going to cover which model works depending on what you're looking for. We're going to be covering price. We're going to answer, is it worth it? So watch all the way to the end as we cover every model. And if you really like this material, drop a comment that you'd like to see more in depth on each model, but we're going to be mostly covering everything you need to know so that you don't get fooled. And I'm going to make sure that I cover all the important stuff. But if you want a more in-depth video on a particular model, drop it in the comment section. Now let's get started. Let's talk about the 2025 Ford Maverick and that big question of, is it worth it? Should you get it? Or is this just a small truck with a big price? So let's answer that question. Is it a small truck with just a big price? Well, let's talk about price and then let's do a little comparison. So you've got the XL at $26,395. And I've gotten a lot of comments here on the channel on Johnny's Car Care and Reviews saying, hey, this truck used to be and was supposed to be a $20,000 truck. This is back in 2021. And I've gotten the comment often, forget about it. It's not worth it. Well, that is a fair comment, and I'm glad people leave it, because when you leave a comment, positive or negative, as long as it's meant with kindness, I can work with this and help answer your questions. So let's go over it. Yes, a 2025 Ford Maverick is going to cost you $26,395 US dollars. And what it comes with is a big part of whether it's worth it or not, and also the comparison. So continue watching, because in just a few moments, we'll do the comparison. But first, let's go through all the models. You've got the XLT with $28,895. You've got the Lobo, $35,100. You've got the Lariat at $37,135. I've even gotten the comment, once you're at a Lariat, why not get an F-150? Well, we'll talk about that. And the Tremor, $40,195. Well, I've gotten the comment many times here on the channel, Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, that an XL has gotten so expensive, it's now basically the price of a Honda Ridgeline. So let's go check it out, because from day one, I originally made the point saying this is an incredible buy and order one up. It's worth the wait, because I used to have the slogan, buy a Maverick, it's the price of a Honda Civic with better fuel efficiency. So let's go check that out, see if that's still true, or if now with time, I've led you to be fooled. So let's do the don't be fooled, the first don't be fooled of the video, and you'll want to watch then, because we'll do several actually, don't be fooled little segments on the Ford Maverick and other vehicles. And that's what we're all about on this channel. We're about making sure you get the right info so that you can save thousands. So let's see the Ridgeline right there on screen. So we have the Ridgeline now on screen, and maybe we should zoom in here. But the starting price of a 2025 Ridgeline is $40,150. That's the starting MSRP, and I don't want anyone getting fooled. A base Ridgeline probably is going to be more equipped than the Maverick. So we'll compare, because that's a mid-size truck. It's like a small mid-size truck. But is the Maverick still less expensive than a 2025 Civic hatchback? Well, back in the 2021 model, I was saying, it's less expensive than a Honda Civic, and it is. So I haven't led you astray with time. I haven't fooled anyone. It's still true. So let's cover that. Don't be fooled. You're running, what is it, $500 or $1,000 less than a Honda Civic. So $26,395 versus $27,450. So basically $900 less for the Ford Maverick. And the Civic is now getting 30 miles per gallon, city and highway 38. But you might say, oh, hold on. You're going to compare miles per gallon versus the hybrid Maverick versus the Civic. That doesn't seem fair. Okay, well, now the Honda Civic for 2025, you can get the sedan hybrid for $28,950. But then the fuel economy is similar to the Maverick hybrid, because we can see right there, we've got 50 miles per gallon city and 47 miles per gallon highway, about a couple $1,000, about $2,500 more than your hybrid Maverick. The hybrid Maverick though, you can for about $2,000 or $2,200 add all-wheel drive. The standard price we're seeing on the Maverick, don't be fooled, is for front-wheel drive. So make sure if you want all-wheel drive, you have to add that. It's not standard. The hybrid though is standard. So the Ridgeline. Let's answer the question. Base, does it come with more? Well, the base is pretty impressive with 280 horsepower. So that's definitely more horsepower than you'll get out of the hybrid, mind you. In Canada, if you take the EcoBoost, the 2-liter, you're going to save about $2,000. We'll see if we save on the American website. You still won't have 280 horsepower. You'll have 250 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque, but out of a 4-cylinder engine. Here, you're getting a 6-cylinder engine. You're getting a dual-action tailgate. The tailgate's pretty good over at Honda. And you're getting standard all-wheel drive system. And you're getting a class 3 hitch, but the difference is still, what is it, 26 to 40,900. It's like $15,000 roughly. And what are you getting for technology? You got the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The 2025 Ford Maverick though, don't be fooled, it's a lot more equipped. The XL is way more equipped than what we were looking at back in 2021, 2022, 2023, but it does come standard with a push button start. And for safety, it has blind spot information system, multi-angle rear view camera, and adaptive cruise control. So it is really well equipped, but it's also $15,000. So don't be fooled by those that will say that, you know, why don't buy a Maverick? You might as well go get a Ridgeline for the price that they've gotten. It's just not the case. And for fuel economy, you are going to do quite a bit better with the Maverick. Let's go check back on fuel economy of the Ford Maverick. So Ford Maverick, we'll get to fuel economy as we cover that, but the standard Maverick XL comes standard. You're not going to pay extra for the hybrid setup, but it is front wheel drive. Don't be fooled right there. And don't be fooled, Ford is writing CVT and they're not doing themselves any favors by writing CVT here, because a lot of people, when they think CVT, myself included, and I've been in the business for a long time, and I've been interested in cars since the age of 6. So over 30 years reading car magazines and whatnot, CVT has always been a pretty bad word in my book, but this isn't a CVT. It's kind of a CVT. It's actually an eCVT. It was developed with Toyota in the 2000s, and it's very similar to what can be found on a Prius hybrid. And it's actually extremely reliable, which is not a word or a phrase that gets attached usually to CVT. Now, how it's constructed, just a really simple rundown real quick. A regular CVT means a transmission with one speed that's either belt driven, and that belt is either going to be a rubber belt or a chain, sort of like a metal belt, a chain. The eCVT on this is a planetary gear set. So you have one big gear made of metal with big metal teeth all around and a bunch of other little gears with teeth. It still has one speed. So it shares in the CVT part of it all. You can say, well, it's similar because it is one unit sharing one speed, but it is very different. It is much more robust, reliable, and I have faith that these transmissions generally are going to be good for well over 10 years, probably well over 15 years. They're going to be good to get, you know, the 200,000 miles or, you know, over 300,000 kilometers with these transmissions. Now you're getting 42 miles per gallon in the city, or roughly about 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers. And there is an available 2-liter EcoBoost. If you're looking for power, that's going to be the model for you. And if you don't want what is really an eCVT, I wish Ford would correct that and change it to eCVT. But if you're really not, you know, you shouldn't be worried about that transmission. But if you want a traditional transmission, go with the 2-liter EcoBoost. It has an 8-speed transmission in that 2-liter turbo engine. That's a 4-cylinder. With that 8-speed transmission is well known and well documented for being reliable. It's not on generation 1. It's found and has been found for years, a decade or so, over a decade in the Ford Escape. It's now the standard model for the Lincoln Corsair, the Lincoln Nautilus, the Ford Edge. Great engine. It used to be an optional engine for the Ford Fusion. Now the Fusion and Escapes, back when they were running a 1.5 liter or 1.6 liter EcoBoost, I wasn't a big fan. So far, I'm liking the 1.5 liter EcoBoost on the Escape, but it's not the same 1.5 liter as what we found back in, you know, the 2015, around the 2015 years, you know, 2015, 2016. Now the XLT is $28,895. We have the Lobo with the price at $35,100, the Lariat at $37,135, the Tremor at $40,195, and do keep in mind that all those prices aren't with the transport and handling, which is roughly the destination charges as the manufacturers. They all do this. They all bring you in with a low price and then they slap on an extra $2,000 or more. But where's the real value? I think the real value is deciding between an XL or an XLT, because as we can see, we're roughly almost $15,000 less, roughly $15,000 less than a Honda Ridgeline. And yes, you do get a smaller box. The bed, whatever we want to call it here, the bed is smaller. It's not 5 feet like it is on the Ford Ranger. More precise, it's actually a 54.4 inch long bed, or 4.5 feet. So there you've got it. It can hold 33.3 cubic feet of volume, and it's 53.3 inches wide. And that also means that you can have the tailgate at different positions. And when you've got it down, you can fit a 4x8 or several 4x8 sheets of plywood or gyps, but based on sitting on top of the wheel wells. Within the wheel wells, you've got less, and you do have a payload, or you know, how much weight you can add to it, 1,500 pounds. So really good amount of weight that you can throw in. Now, I think the real value is with the XL. Why buy an XL versus why buy an XLT or any other model? Well, let's go through which model is right for who really rapidly. So the XL, it's not just gonna be for your work truck. If you don't mind the Steelies, this is incredible price, and we'll get into the whole EcoBoost or hybrid discussion, but incredible price if you like the Steelies. If you are gonna change the wheels, you might as well go with the XLT because you get some really nice wheels. If you do like those, go XLT, because you're also gonna get the push button. Now, if you don't like having a push button, or I should mention what is push button, this XLT, they all come standard with the push button. So if you like having your key and putting your key in and turning over the engine, the XLT and above aren't the right models for you. But the XLT isn't $2,400 more if you need a hitch, because the XLT comes standard with that trailer hitch receiver that can tow 2,000 pounds. If you want to pull 4,000 pounds, you're going to need a special equipment group called 4K towing, but you've got a standard 2,000 pound capable of towing hitch, 1,500 pounds in the bed, or overall cargo added, and it comes with the 4-pin connector. So not for towing a trailer that has brakes on it. It won't have those brakes functioning. So don't be fooled by anyone that tries to tell you, oh, no, buy the XLT and yes, it'll work the brakes on your trailer. Absolutely not true. Now, why would you buy a Lobo? Well, you're going to get a Lobo basically and that's a good amount more, you know, jumping up to 35,100. But 19-inch wheels. You've got standard with the 2-liter EcoBoost engine with 7-speed automatic transmission. So this thing is made to be a little faster and really grab people's attention. You've got a lowered ride height and tuned suspension, unique front fascia with fog lamps and black roof. So quite the looker. It's what we can say is the performance model, and it comes with Activix as an interior seat covering. A lot of people are going to think it's leather. It's actually recycled plastic. It's very durable. I'm not worried about it. And either way, I've seen very few problems with Activix. Rarely does it ever crack. And if it does, I've seen Ford warranty that without very few questions asked. As long as, you know, it doesn't look like you took an X-Acto to it. X-Acto, or a knife to the seats, you're not going to worry. You're not going to worry. Ford will cover you under warranty. You've got the Lariat, and here you don't have a lowered lowered suspension. You've got your 2-liter turbo again, so 250 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. You have 19-inch wheels, so think winter tires if you need to throw them on to that wheel right there. They're going to be pretty expensive, so you might want a second full set. And Ford actually these days has been offering really good wheels that you can, that are still Ford OEM wheels, very sturdy, very solid, that you can throw winter tires on and get them at a good price. You're going to get the LED projector headlamps with LED signature accent lighting and the dual zone electronic automatic temperature, meaning a reason to get Lariat if you want leather-like interior because it's still ActiveX. If you like having an 8-way adjustable driver seat standard, you like having a big sound system, this is what we could call your comfort luxury truck, right-sized truck, because a lot of us are driving trucks that are just bigger than what we need. Right now, I need an F-150 just because of the rear-facing baby seat for our daughter. And then you've got the Tremor. This is your off-road Ford Maverick. If you want to go off-road, this is your model, but do keep in mind, don't be fooled. The Maverick doesn't have a full boxed-in frame the way the Ford Ranger or the Ford F-150 has. It has, underneath it, it's essentially a platform. It's the same platform and build architecture as the Lincoln Corsair, the Ford Escape. So right there, long-term off-roading, if you're thinking of like off-roading in a very snowy, salty area, wouldn't be the model I'd want to really use as, let's say, a truck to take wood out of woods. Like if you're going to use this as your lumber transportation for personal use, I don't know how I'd feel about filling 1,300 pounds into the bed of this vehicle on a regular basis and taking it over a really rough, uneven terrain with a ton of wood in it. I'd prefer a fully boxed in frame for that. Fully boxed in frames are very, very tough. And I'm impressed that Ford offers it on the Ford Ranger and Ford F-150. So if you're going to work it extremely hard, maybe those are better models for you. If you're going to pull a small camper or, four-wheeler, a boat, Sea-Doos on, a normal even terrain, this is perfect. The fact that this is built on an essentially SUV platform means it behaves like an SUV. Marie and I had a Ford Maverick hybrid and the fuel economy was incredible. The drive was great. You can catch the videos on the channel, and please help us out with a like, subscribe, and turn bell notifications on. Really help us out. And even if sometimes we make a lengthy video and you don't have time to watch the whole thing, before bed or when you're not using the computer, if you let it run in the background, it will really help this channel grow and it'd be really appreciated. Thank you very much, my friends. We've had incredible support from the members and especially as well as our subscribers. So thank you very much. Now we've covered essentially what model to get for your needs. You want that occasional off-roading model, get the Tremor. You want to put 1,400 pounds in the box and drive off-road in very uneven ground, I'd say get an F-150 or get a Ford Ranger. Now back to the value. Where's the value at? It's on the XL and XLT. Now the XL is less equipped than that Honda Ridgeline, but it's also roughly $15,000 less. So what does it come with? It comes with under seat storage. If you get the hybrid, you only have one box of space underneath that under rear second row seat storage. If you get the EcoBoost, you have 2 spaces and they're roughly about a foot by roughly just about 2 feet. 2 boxes versus 1. But now you do get cruise control. Ford listened to their clients. We were all clamoring how it was unfortunate how the XL didn't have cruise control. Who doesn't have cruise control these days? Well, Ford gave us more equipment, but they also raised the price. But unfortunately, so did all the automakers. I don't know of a single model that's still selling at its 2021, 2022, or even 2023 price. All the 2025s are more expensive than the 2023s and earlier. So there has been a big price increase in the auto market. And that's unfortunate, but that's out of our control. Even used vehicles, the used vehicles have gone up a great deal in price as well. But Ford is now giving us the under seat storage, nothing new there. The Steelies, still nothing new there. The cruise control, we've had that. It wasn't on the original models, but I think we got that in 2023 or 2024. We've got the 6 tie downs in the bed, very useful. You've got the flex bed storage system, and I'll show you what that is in a moment. And we've got the 13.2 inch touchscreen with sync and wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. And you also have a good 360 setup. So you're gonna get a very good touchscreen. It's rapid. These aren't like the touchscreens from 10, 15 years ago at Ford. I remember my, what was it, a 2013 or 2015 Lincoln MKS that I had. The touchscreen was a little slow. Generally, these touchscreens have been pretty darn reliable. I've come across 2 models that had an issue with the touchscreen so far amongst my personal clients. And you are getting a good set of lights on this. So let's check it out. Let's build and price an XL. Remember, if you want push button start, go and get the XLT. If you need a hitch anyways, and you're not a huge fan of these wheels, jump all over the XLT. And what I really like, Ford hasn't, often manufacturers play the little game of, you want those really popular colors we're advertising everywhere and giving to the journalists. What happens? You have to get a mid model or even a high model to get those special colors. But that green, eruption green, that many people are talking about and saying that's how they want their Ford Maverick. And I've put in a few orders and I've had a lot of demand and questions about this color. It looks great. If you're wondering what it looks like, go find a Ford Bronco on the lot. It's the same eruption green as, the Bronco that I had here on the channel. And it is incredible. It's got a little metal flake that it's a metal flake, but usually when people think metal flake, they think it's going to be like a silver metal flake. It's a bronze goldish metal flake, and it's just absolutely beautiful in the sun. If you're not a fan of green, that's fine. We can still be friends. You've got your space white metallic, which isn't a straight white the way Oxford white is. Oxford white, yes, it looks very much like a commercial truck. You've got the shadow black, it's the same shadow black. It's the same white as a 2024 Maverick, and probably, yes, you can get a 24 Maverick on a lot because they're not moving as quickly as I mentioned it. I made a video about what we had in as dealer inventory, and I said if the Rangers don't go down in number, we're going to see interest rates drop. And actually interest rates within 3 months have dropped 2% on the Ford Ranger. And back in the day when we started to only have a few F-150s, I also said the day we've got a full lot of F-150s, you're going to see lower interest rates or big rebates or a mix of the two. And that's what we have. We have $9,000 off a Ford F-150 right now. You've got your gray, which is the traditional Ford carbonized gray metallic, so you can find an Escape on lot with that color. You've got a lot of different Ford models like the Ford Explorer that you can find on the lots in this color. And the 2024 Ford Mavericks will continue to reduce in price until they start selling off. But I think the best time to buy a 2024 Ford Maverick is once the 2025s have shown up. So and yes, the first 2 months to 3 months of Ford Mavericks arriving at dealerships, they're going to be customer orders for the most part. But once you see some available inventory of 2025 Ford Mavericks, great time to buy a 2024. There'll be deals, either an interest rate reduction or a rebate, but I'm suspecting probably more an interest rate reduction. The Desert Sand. Desert Sand is a color you can currently find, if I recall, on the Bronco Sport. A little rare, but if you find one that color, you'll be in business. And we also have the blue. Now, personally, my favorite colors, because I've seen them in the real world, are the Velocity Blue, traditional Ford F-150 truck color, and the green. Now for engines, we've got the 2.5 liter hybrid engine. This is a really it's an Atkinson engine. It is a good, reliable 4-cylinder setup with an electric engine added to it, controlled by a 1.1 kilowatt battery. You can see your 1.1 kilowatt battery right there. You can also see, I do believe that's your 12 volt battery there. You might think, how am I ever going to charge or boost that? Well, there's terminals up front on the right side, the driver's side of the vehicle, You'll see a little orange cap that can be flipped up, and you'll just need to ground your charger or booster cables, and put the power, the positive, to the little positive nod with a little orange cap up front. So don't worry about changing that 12-volt battery. Sorry, about charging that 12-volt battery. And it does come standard with front-wheel drive. If you want all-wheel drive, you're looking at an option of $2,220, and I can tell you, in regards to resale value, if you live in a northern region or a region that gets snow, having all-wheel drive is going to be really great for resale value. And I can tell you, so far, all the Mavericks that I've seen get ordered are hybrid all-wheel drive. There's a lot of demand for it, meaning resale value. That is your best resale value there. And the XL model and XLT models are going to be the models that depreciate the least. So don't be fooled by someone telling you, oh, get a Tremor or get a Lariat because they'll have the best resale. Yes, you're gonna get more overall, but the percentage of value that the vehicle loses is gonna be the least on the XL and XLT model. But I'm not worried. All the models will have and have had really good resale value. The depreciation is very low, actually, comparatively speaking, to other models. It's not going to appreciate like a house, but in regards for the automotive world, this right-sized truck is depreciating. It's a huge positive point besides the fuel economy, which is just incredible on this vehicle. So if you do go with an EcoBoost, you're going to get more power. This is the model to get if you're less concerned about fuel economy. Now on the highway, not a huge difference. You know, on the highway, my experience with the 2-liter is about 7.5, 8 liters per 100 kilometers. And on the hybrid, it's more around 6.5. So it's not a world of difference. The miles per gallon in the real world are close enough. We're not talking about, you know, a 40% difference, but in the city, it's a huge difference. You know, an EcoBoost can, well, you've got the numbers, and I can tell you the numbers that Ford shares for the Maverick are very doable. But the 2-liter EcoBoost has 250 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. It is a fantastic option. And you can see on the EcoBoost engine going all-wheel drive, I believe it is standard for the EcoBoost engine in Canada. But in the United States, you've got it as a $1,000 option, whereas on the 2.5 liter, it was less. Now in Canada, if you do plan on ordering a hybrid, do know that if you only do highway driving, you might want to consider the 2-liter EcoBoost engine, because the difference for highway miles per gallon, there's not a huge one. And you do get a credit in Canada, roughly $2,000 credit for taking the 2-liter, at least at the moment of making this video. And the XL, you can look at additional equipment. You can always look at what's included. They're not very detailed here, but yeah, just right there, you can see what's included there, the 13-point-inch center stack, that nice big touch screen behind the steering wheel. Nonetheless, you have an 8-inch screen, so really quite a bit of good equipment. You've got LED headlamps. So I know when we went to the Lariat, we saw on the screen, oh, LED headlamps. And a lot of people think, I want those LED headlamps for safety. I have to go get a Lariat. No, don't be fooled. You've got LED headlamps right on your standard XL Maverick. You don't have to pay a whole lot. The difference for the Lariat is it has signature LED headlamps, meaning special, fancy, prettier, more luxury. You still have those long-lasting, very safe LED headlamps. And I say very safe because it's a very clear light and it's a high performance light. But you also have pre-collision assist with automatic emergency braking, which means right before you're about to have an accident, the vehicle can brake up to about 35 kilometers an hour, or about 25 to 27 miles per hour, that it'll brake on its own if, let's say, you don't see what's in front of you. And automatic emergency braking also includes post-collision braking, meaning if you have an impact with something, instead of just, you know, veering off to the other side of the highway, going into incoming traffic, Ford Maverick will apply those brakes knowing that it's been in a contact, that it's been in an accident. So you've got that 4-foot 0.5 box, the 54.4-inch box. You've got the rear under seat storage bin, and you do have a mini spare. Now, why would you maybe get a 102? equipment group, well, that's going to give you, that's how you get the 2-liter EcoBoost all-wheel drive. So traditionally at Ford, let's say a Ford F-150 with a 301, 302, 400, all those were codes for meaning you're getting more and spending more. But here on the Maverick, what it means now is 101 to 102 just means that's how you order up, and it's the code for going all-wheel drive EcoBoost. Now, the Ford Copilot 360 technology, I really like that it's included. It is standard. So those are the LED headlamps, auto LED high beams. That means at night, your high beams are going to go on, and when the sensor detects lights, either city lights, headlamps, either city lamps or headlamps from other vehicles, when it detects that extra luminosity in the windshield, it's going to take your high beams and put them lower. And that's great because other cars will see that you just lowered your high beams, which increases the chance that they'll lower their high beams and stop blinding you. You got lane keeping aid, and that's not lane centering. So Ford, they use two terms. Lane centering means the vehicle works really well with micro adjustments to keep you in the middle of the lane. You don't go all over the lane. It's actually, lane centering at Ford is fantastic. And this has instead lane keeping, meaning it's when you start to go out of the lane, if the camera picks up those lines, if they're painted well enough and not covered in snow or deep in water, the vehicle will help bring you back, and it won't jerk you back into the lane. It'll help bring you back. So ideally, you're still going to be, you're going to feel a vibration, and the vehicle's going to start to steer, and you're going to help it back into the right position. And of course, we mentioned the pre-collision assist, meaning it'll apply the brakes for pedestrian detection, but that's also just anything that's in front of you that you're about to hit, with forward collision warning and dynamic brake support, meaning when it sees that something is in front of you and you're coming at a decent speed towards that object in front of you, pedestrian, vehicle, bicycle, whatever it may be, it's going to prepare the brakes. Kind of like back in the day when you couldn't just lay into the brakes, you wouldn't have good brakes, you had to pump the brakes. Well, essentially the system prepares the brakes. It's kind of like pumping the brakes, and it makes it so that they'll be the most efficient and very touchy. You just start to touch the pedal and you're 100% braking. And you've got a rear view camera, of course, as standard. So really good equipment. I think the XL is a great package. I'm not get into all the extras that you can add, but I can mention that if you can always get these parts at the service department or parts department. However, I wouldn't try to add after the fact the battery warmer. What's the proper terminology for that? I'm sorry. The block heater, the engine heater. Don't try to add that after. And some of the things like the hard roll up are going to be, roughly $400 or $500 more if you get them at the parts department. So you've got that issue. Do you save money and get it on your order, but maybe have your order delayed a little bit? Or do you get them from your parts department? Well, I can say that you will save money if you throw it on your order at the beginning. And for each of these, you can always go, before ordering your Maverick, go to the parts department and ask, how much is it going to cost? And you've got the prices here. But the engine block heater, the term I was looking for, at $190, you're probably going to spend more like $1,000 trying to add one after market. Mind you, I don't really feel like an engine block heater is really all that necessary nowadays with the technology that they're building motors with. So those are your reasons for getting an XL. If you want a truck that can work pretty hard, tow quite well, and let's see, if you want to tow 4,000 pounds, can we add it? So we've got 4K tow package for only $745. That's fantastic. And don't be fooled, it already comes with Ford Copilot 360. You pay $795 only if you want the extra equipment that comes with this. So the extra, it's giving me the 4K tow package. Well, we know trailer brake controller and the capacity to tow 4,000 pounds. So don't be fooled. If you want the brakes to work on your trailer or your camper here, you're gonna need trailer brake controller. So you're gonna have to get the 4K tow package at $745. But the Copilot 360, it's the additional Copilot 360. And I find it's tough that Ford names, Ford Copilot 360 twice for Ford Copilot 360. And one's standard and one's not. But this is when you want to pay extra for and then they repeat rear view camera, but with an asterisk. They repeat auto high beams, but with an asterisk. That means you already have it, but they're listing it again. I don't know why they do this. I find it confusing. But what you get extra basically is bliss with cross traffic alert. That means if you're backing up and traffic is coming, the car is gonna alert you. It also comes with cross traffic brake assist, meaning you'll also brake if it sees you're about to have a collision when you're backing up. Comes with lane keeping system and the lane keeping alert, lane keeping aid, and driver alert. But remember, lane keeping is also on the base. So keep all that in mind. Basically, we get that when we just want additional security. So Ford Copilot 360, the one down here is the beefed up. So I believe that's going to add not the easiest system here. And they're talking about the increased one. So that's for those additional technologies, but the base technology is actually quite good. Now for the XL, why would you get an XL? Well, it basically boils down to, do you want push button start? And do you want, the Ford factory wheels? Often getting Ford factory wheels that are specific to the current model are expensive, but if you get Ford factory wheels that are no longer in use, I'm thinking, for example, of previous models of F-150 wheels, you can get them for a really great price. They're really sturdy. And your XLT, if you want to know what it comes standard with, you just hit the details button and you can go through there. You can also look up the Ford 2025 Ford Maverick order guide. And, I've got it right here. You can have it on your phone so that you don't get fooled while you're building it online and watching this video. But the XLT is coming standard with the tow package for towing 2,000 pounds, the nice wheels, the push button start, and you're getting more colors. So if you're looking for a red, you're going to go up to an XLT. Azure gray, you're going to go up to an XLT. Azure gray, I've seen it on Broncos. It's a great color. Very, very nice. And if you want all-wheel drive, don't forget to select it. And please keep in mind that when you don't get surprised, when you go to the final price, there's going to be a $2,000 destination, or kind of like a transport handling fee, which is, even if you're buying and you're very close to the factory or very, very far from the factory, it's a standardized price across all the models. But when you go to an XLT, what can you pick extra? Well, you can pick extra equipment. Now, once again, going to a 302, oddly doesn't mean more equipment like it does on F-150s for the last, few decades. It means you're getting an all-wheel drive 2-liter EcoBoost. Sorry, you're getting an EcoBoost engine. All-wheel drive is $2,220 for the hybrid, and less if you're going EcoBoost. If you're going EcoBoost, the all-wheel drive has now become, it's included front-wheel drive, but if you go EcoBoost here, all-wheel drive is getting included. Okay, great. So XLT all-wheel drive included on the EcoBoost engine. You have the luxury package. And here's a big reason why a lot of people are getting XLTs. It's because they want heated seats. So what does the luxury package include? It includes 8-way power driver and 6-way manual passenger seats. So of course, there's a manual seat on the XL, but on the XLT, it's a 6-way manual passenger seat. So forward and back, there's 2. Up and down, there's 2. And the angle of the back. So if you want a passenger seat that goes up and down, you got your XLT with the electric 8-way power driver seat. You want to go XLT. Luxury package. It's $1,890, but it's also giving you heated mirrors on the side, painted black, LED box lighting, heated seats, and a soft vinyl wrapped heated steering wheel, which is great because on a Ford F-150, if you want a heated steering wheel, you're not, so far I haven't found it, I've never found it aftermarket, and if you want that heated steering wheel on F-150, you're going up to a Lariat, which, you know, almost twice the price. So you've got your heated seats, heated steering wheel, heated exterior mirrors, your remote start system from the keys, but do keep in mind with your phone, if you've got a smartphone and you fill out Ford Pass, which you should because you'll get Ford points to then spend at service or parts. But with Ford Pass, which is free, there's no monthly charge to Ford Pass, you can locate your vehicle, lock the doors, unlock the doors, start it at a distance, program your service, and a whole lot more. And you also get, with that luxury package, a 400-watt inverter, which includes a little cubby cover and a USB console rear. So a little USB connector there for the rear. And you also have a soft vinyl. It used to be a leather wrapped steering wheel. It's now a soft vinyl wrapped heated steering wheel. So the steering wheel is not just warmer, it also feels nicer because it's not just this hard plastic. So that's in my opinion, for me, that's the model I get for myself and my family. You've got the black appearance package. Let's see what it does to the vehicle, and not just, let's see the whole vehicle here. So for the inside, they all have that nice touchscreen, 13.2 inches. They all have that 8-inch screen for showing you the speed you're going. And now with the black appearance package, you're gonna have black grille, black wheels. You've blacked out the vehicle. And you've got FX4 off-road package. And that's if you're going to be going off-road. Simply put, to really summarize a whole lot. But you got unique wheels, special wheels. You've got exposed front tow hooks, which Toyota's always had trouble putting tow hooks on their trucks. So it's nice. You just have an inexpensive package there at $800 and you've got the tow hooks. You've got the higher capacity radiator. So of course, if you're off-roading, it means you're working hard at slow speeds, going up hills, spinning a little tire in the mud or snow. So you have a higher capacity radiator. You have hill descent control. That's a little button that you press and you get essentially engine braking. So the motor and the transmission help keep you at your current speed. So it's just easy, one button. You've got off-road screen in instrument cluster. So it's just going to tell you like the angle of the vehicle, the front, the sides. You've got a performance suspension, so you have a suspension that's better at taking bumps. So if you live in an area with horrible roads, this is actually a pretty good package. Don't be fooled. FX4 isn't just for off-road. It's also for, bad roads. So the roads around Michigan, the roads around Quebec. But if you live in an area with just perfect roads, you really don't need this. You also have the rotary gear shift dial, including a special off-road drive mode, because they all have, don't be fooled, they all have slippery, eco, normal, sport, and tow haul mode as long as you've ordered a hitch from factory. You have skid plates underneath and you've got an upgraded cooling fan. So that is actually a package I really like quite a bit. And you have the Ford Copilot package at $795 that we covered on the XLT. So I'm not going to go through it all over again. But now that I've got a baby in the vehicle and I would get the added safety package. When I'm backing up, if my vision's blocked because of the baby seat or I'm distracted, I don't want to back up into have an accident, maybe get T-boned. So I definitely spend the money there. So the model, how I would take it, and of course, if you followed the channel for a while, I'm going to take it green. I'm going to go green. And because I don't mind if it ends up taking an extra month, 2, or even an extra 3 months because of an accessory that's, too high in demand and just not showing up, I would get the tonneau pickup box cover, hard roll up. I'd add that. The interior, if, previously you're bothered by the orange accents, well, now they're blue accents. It's not the greatest photo of it, but it's blue accents instead of orange accents, and I think they're gonna look just great. Well, I do know they look great. We had the first one show up at the dealership. and I was worried I wouldn't like the front, bumper grill area, but in person it's fantastic. And I know in my previous videos I said, yeah, I'm not sure about the front grille styling. I think I prefer the 2024. Now that it's shown up and I've seen it in person, I do prefer the styling of a 2025. If we still had our, what I think it ended up coming in as a 2022 Ford Maverick. If we still, yeah, of course it did. So if we still had that, I would be switching it in for an all-wheel drive 2025. We do actually a lot of city. So we would go hybrid. And you can see going hybrid is adding $3,710 to the price. Yes and no, because now they're removing our luxury package. They're removing a whole bunch of things, and we just have to go back and add them. So yes, we want all-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive's coming in at $2,220. And we absolutely want the XLT luxury package. And I even would want for the extra safety, co-pilot's still there. I want the 4K towing, resale value. And if we do get a camper, a trailer, that type of thing, or if we get, well, we can't get Sea-Doos. We have Layla. If we get a pontoon, a boat, and the FX4 package, because I find $800, really, I can't have it unless I go all-wheel drive. So unless I go 2-liter EcoBoost. So I want the fuel economy. I find it's well worth it for resale value as well, and it gives me a huge advantage over a Honda Ridgeline. Yes, it's a little smaller than a Honda Ridgeline, but it's going to be much, much more fuel efficient. And I liked the old site. You always had a little calculator that followed you at the top here, and you just hit your calculator and you got to know your price. Now you scroll down and you look around, and do keep in mind, we added the $1,200 hard folding cover. If ever, we have to go into the city, we don't have to worry about someone knifing into our box. And actually that happened to one of my favorite Canadian YouTube channels. It happened to them in Toronto and in Montreal. It's ridiculous how crime has become a real problem in a country where crime really wasn't a problem 10 years ago. I'll leave it at that. But your price, my price, how I would absolutely take this. You can see the added packages. We've got the all-wheel drive. We've got the luxury package. We have the tonneau cover, the co-pilot 360, and the 4K package. And we're coming in at $38,035. So we have more equipment than the Honda Ridgeline, because the Honda Ridgeline, you're going to have those added costs. You're going to have destination charges of, roughly $1,600 as well. And we do have push button on this standard. So we didn't have to take it as equipped as this. We could have taken it at, roughly $28,600. There would have been the transport and destination. So roughly almost, 26. Well, we'll go back and do it again, but that's your price. And I used to find it a lot easier to click and find out, what's my monthly price on this. And that's where I find there's a bit more problems. You have to kind of be in the know and go to customize payments. And when you customize payments, the 10% down payment, that's not obligatory. It certainly isn't in Canada, maybe in certain states. But I think most states that's not, dealerships will ask for it just to show you a lower price, but you can tell them to take it off. And I would lease my Ford Maverick, even though I think the technology is great and is good for long durability. Let's say we take average, kind of in the middle here in regards to mileage. So 13,500 miles per year, no down payment, no trade-in, and we've got $559 as a payment. And if you purchase this, you just go up top, you hit finance, we're at $740 per month with no down payment. And the financed amount, $37,340, and we could have been considerably less because we really added into the equipment on this. We could have had the XLT at $28,895 or even an XL. So if we build an XL and we just take it hybrid and let's say just front wheel drive, because we had a front wheel drive hybrid. We drove it while towing the four-wheeler, trailer plus four-wheeler, in a snowstorm. You can catch the video on the channel, and Marie had no issue, and I couldn't believe she was making full stops and basically stopping, counting to 3 and then taking off. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are you doing? We're in a snowstorm. We're gonna get stuck on this hill. It was a pretty steep hill. It was one of the steepest hills in the town slash city we live in, and there was no issues whatsoever. Now, if you go with the XL, no tow package. So yeah, I'm gonna have to add a tow package. Owning a truck, you know, if I own a truck, it's I need a tow package. But that's gonna really change the price quite a bit. And it's gonna remove the front wheel drive and add in all wheel drive. So if you really want to have the best price, take it like this and take it with 2K towing. So can we now in 2025, just previously as a $400 option? And either way, I'd say talk to parts department in your dealership if you really want an XL and see if they will add the hitch themselves once it arrives. Because let's just see the absolute lowest price on this Maverick with no down payment, just like the XLT. You're going to lease it, lowest price at 13,500 miles per year is $423 with no down payment. And if you finance it on 5 years, you're looking at a payment of $555. And if you go up to 72 months, $478. So that is your absolute lowest price on a Ford Maverick in comparison to the most popular Ford Maverick. The Ford Maverick that I want is also the most popular Ford Maverick, and that's the XLT with luxury package. And now that 2025 can have all-wheel drive, a lot of people are ordering it, and a lot of people are going to be trading in their Ford Mavericks. Even if they already have a hybrid, they're probably going to be trading in for an all-wheel drive because it's the go everywhere vehicle. But do keep in mind, you're going to use a little bit more fuel if you do go with the all-wheel drive hybrid. So if you plan on keeping this a long time and you really don't need the all-wheel drive, get a front-wheel drive hybrid, save the fuel, don't be fooled. If you're going to be trading this in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, keep in mind the all-wheel drive hybrid will have a better resale value. I've seen it with Ford Escapes. A Ford Escape front-wheel drive or any front-wheel drive SUV, being that we're a snow region, even if front-wheel drive SUVs get you pretty much everywhere anyways, the resale value is really so much lower than an all-wheel drive SUV. And I'm quite positive it's going to be the same with the Ford Maverick. When someone has the option in 4 or 5 years of buying a front-wheel drive hybrid 2024 versus a 2025 all-wheel drive, they're going to be willing to spend extra for that all-wheel drive hybrid, and the dealership should be paying you extra. So don't be fooled there either. Now, I hope this video has been extremely helpful. I'm Johnny from Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, and it would really help our small family business out, help feed and dress those poodles, if you gave us a good old like, and would truly appreciate it if you subscribe and turn bell notifications on. Heck, even if we make a long video from time to time and it's too long for you to watch, if you play it in the background, you know, on your laptop after you've gone to bed, you'll really be helping the channel out. And a special thank you to the members. Thank you so much for keeping this small business alive. Until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power, and do hope you get to put the pedal to a metal on a vehicle that you love real soon. Take care, folks.